Hi, good evening, everyone. How are you? Come on in. For some of you, it's morning. For some of you, it's evening as we are all across the world. I hope you're doing well. Do me a favor, let me know that you can hear me okay. If you would go in and in the chat room, tell me where you are from. That would be great. Let me know where you are from. Thanks. All right. We've got Hong Kong, Canada, New York, Kenosha, Wisconsin, Toronto, coming in from Calgary, morning from Singapore. Hi, Veronica. Malaysia, London. Fantastic. Great to have everybody on. And I'm just going to give it about 20 more seconds, let everybody else jump on. And then we are going to get going because we're talking about time management. So I've got to make sure I take good care of the time that we have to work with. My name is Jim Winkler. I'm an unfranchised owner for the past 23 years and the vice president of sales for the company the past 9.5 years. So to me, time management is a vital aspect of what we do, whether we're a part-time unfranchised owner, a full-time unfranchised owner, or a semi-time unfranchised owner. I think putting the most in the amount of time we have is absolutely vital and will get us the most out of our business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with us a PowerPoint, and then we'll walk through there and I'll give you my thoughts on time management. It's something I've trained on for years. It's something I really believe is critical for success in the business. I think it's one of the most frustrating parts of our business as well, because a lot of times what will happen is we think about the business too much. I don't know if some of you agree with me on that, but if we're not doing the things we need to do, it actually gets very frustrating. So we've got to figure out what do we do and how do we do it, and that's where we're going to go with this presentation. And everybody's always looking for that secret. What's the secret to success, Jim? What's the one thing? And I don't think there is one thing. I think there's a lot of different things to do to be successful. But I do believe knowing how to maximize 10 to 15 hours a week within your business is a key to be able to do that. And there's multiple ways we're going to talk about doing that. But I want to share with you ways I know are proven, ways I've seen work, ways I've done myself, because for every successful franchise owner that is out there, they've made a lot of errors to get to where they are. I want you to remember that they've made a lot of mistakes. They screwed up along the way. They can look back at that journey and say, maybe if I'd done this, I would have gotten further, or I would have gotten there sooner. So I'm going to share with you some things I hope will save you some time on your journey as you're building your business. One of my favorite sayings that we have in Market America is the difference between success and failure. An individual who succeeds simply does what the individual who failed did not do or was not willing to do. So here's why I'm saying that. I'm going to give you some coaching points tonight. We're going to talk about a number of different things. Some of you will put those in practice. Some of you will say that's a great idea and forget about it maybe by tomorrow. And some of you won't even think it's a great idea and won't do it. To me, the business has always been really simple. Find somebody who's succeeding, do what they're doing, and then tweak it to make sure it works within your personality or your framework. But it's the first step is doing it. Now, you can do more in less hours if you focus on the right activities. And this is where I was going earlier when I was talking. So many of us spend too much time on wrong activities. And I'm not saying you're doing it on purpose, and I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying you have to be aware. Meaning, if you only have 10 hours a week and you spend 9 hours watching Zooms, and 1 hour on Facebook liking posts from the corporate team, you're probably not going to get real far, because even though your educational level is going up because you're learning, you're not doing any result building activities. So we always have to have a good focus on result building activities as well as educational, as well as anything that we do. So what are the right activities? I'm going to talk about how to focus on those. And let's talk about the concept. Why is it important? Well, most everybody starts this business on a part-time basis. I know I did. When I started, I had a very active, very aggressive job I was working. I was a vice president of a company. I typically traveled a Tuesday through a Friday, 3 out of 4 weeks. I was working typically a 40 to a 60-hour work week, just depending on the week that was going on. And then, you start looking at, hey, I want to build this business. And why did I want to build the business? I wanted extra money, which I think is a great reason for people to be building the business. I wanted my products at cost. But another big reason for me is I eventually wanted to build it to a point I could get more time. But here's where, you start to realize some things. I started realizing to get more time, I was going to have to give up some time. And this is a hard thing for people to understand in the beginning. To get more time, I was going to have to give up some time. So there's things that I put on the schedule, and then it was ironclad. So I was missing certain things I would have liked to have done. Maybe it was a neighborhood party. Maybe I had to miss some of the kids' activities when they were little. Maybe it was a relative birthday party that they booked it on a time I was already scheduled to be at a Market America event. Well, I was very closed-minded, if you want to put it that way, into this is what I need to do and this is how I need to get there. Because if these are my only hours, I looked at it like if I had a boss and the boss said, hey, look, I'm going to pay you some great money for working 10 to 15 hours a week, but I need you to put in your calendar those 15 hours. And if you don't work those 15 hours, like if I told you I'm going to pay you $3,000 a week, if you put in 15 hours a week, but here's the but, if you don't work those 15 hours on result producing activities, then you don't get the $3,000. What would you do during the week? Would you make sure you were doing result producing activities, which I'll discuss what those are, if you knew that was going to pay you that? See, the problem is nobody knows what they're going to get paid because we're entrepreneurs and we're building our own business. But I looked at it like this is the only way I can build it is by putting that time in there. So if our goal is to get more time and money, we have to realize we're going to have to put some time and money into the business. And the other thing, we have to, don't be the person who thinks about it 24 hours a day. This is what I was mentioning earlier. I think this is the most frustrating part of our business is if you think about it a lot, but you don't do anything, it actually starts to irritate you to a point of dislike or discomfort. And if you still don't do anything, then you start to get discouraged. So I would rather you do something and fail grandly, fail horribly, but you do something than just think about it. Because by doing something, you're starting the first steps to good time management, which is taking action. So I've always been a big believer in be a doer, not a thinker. Be a doer, not a thinker. Now, I want you to think, obviously. But at the same time, I know a lot of people, they have more degrees than a thermometer has that don't make any money in our business because all they can do is think about it. And I know people who barely got out of high school or didn't get out of high school or making six figures because they went out and they did it and they just took action. One thing I always tell people in our business, and it's very unique this way, it works if you work. That's the bottom line. If you put the right efforts in, you will get the desired result that you want to get back. But you have to put the right efforts in and understand what those are and also understand what those aren't. Okay, understand what those aren't. So like if it were me, if I were in my first 2 years in the business and I was watching this presentation tonight, here's one thing I would take away right away. Okay, this 1 hour or 45-minute Zoom that I'm going to watch, that doesn't count towards my 10 to 15. People say, yeah, but you're getting trained, Jim. But is it making me money? I'm getting trained, but it's not making me money right now. So I would count that on the side of what I do. See, when I started, I had a very short window. I needed to be successful in this. And in a way, scared of it and thought, could that be a hindrance? But in another way, it was one of the best things ever because I didn't have time to goof around. So when I put my time into it, it was selling products, it was showing the business plan, it was doing evaluations, and it was moving tickets and getting people to events with me so I could leverage my time. And if I wasn't doing those 3 activities and teaching my team to do the same thing, I wasn't doing the business. And that's the simple way you need to take a look at being a good time manager of your marketamericashop.com business. You know, you can do the business part-time. I've had people who've gone on to be $1 million earners who didn't leave their job because they loved their job. But you cannot do your business spare time. See, there's a very big difference. Part-time means you schedule it out. You know when you're going to do it. Here's my hours. This is when I'm going to do it. Spare time is after everything else is taken priority. And then you say, I just don't have any time to do my business, or I'm going to throw in 2 or 3 hours to my business, and that's all I've got for it right now. That's what we would call spare time. You don't want to do your business on a spare time basis. We do it on a part-time basis. And what gets scheduled gets done. Would you guys agree with that? This is funny. You know, that's an old saying, but it's one, boy, does my wife say this to me a lot. If we have things to do, she'll say, Jim, we need to schedule it, because if we schedule it, we know we'll get it done. And if we don't schedule it, we know it could go to the next week, or go to the next week, or go to the next week. And in our business, you got to get scheduled. So you got to get down there and you got to look and say, okay, what is important to be scheduled if I'm to be successful in my business? Well, let's talk about how much time you have for the business. So, you know, some people, you ever hear the people say, well, I just don't have time for the business. Maybe some of you are on here tonight because you're thinking, you know, I just got to figure out how I have time for the business. And I remember once I was on a Moving Up seminar with Kevin Buckman, and we started breaking down time. And we said, everybody's got 168 hours in a week. All the same, right? All of us have 168 hours in a week. So if you slept 8 hours a day, so 8 times 7 would be 56 hours. And by the way, if you sleep 8 hours a day, God bless you. That is fantastic. You know, I know I'm more of a 5, 6, or 7 guy typically. So you're already using more hours than I do in a week with your sleep, but that's 56 hours. If you work 50 hours, maybe you got a demanding job, so you're working 50 hours. Maybe you eat 14 hours. That'd be 2 hours a day. You're a very slow eater if you're doing 2 hours a day. But if you did, that would be 14 hours a week. If you eat 2 hours a day, you probably need to work out 1 hour a day. Would you agree with me? Because you're going to be putting in a lot into that body. You better work out because, you know, it's healthy body, healthy mind. That leaves 41 hours in your week. So you say, well, I need some time with my family. Great. Take 20 of them. Take half the time you have left, let alone you spent the time eating with them and maybe working out with them. But now take the time. That still leaves you a massive amount of time. Can you find 10 or 15? The answer is yes, you can, if you will schedule it, if you will organize it and put it in the right way. There's no way you can't find it. And so many times people will say to me, oh, I'm so busy, I have no time. But they can tell me the last 15 shows on Netflix that they watched season 1 through season 7, and I got to call BS. You have time. You're just putting your time into something that's not making you money right now. If you really want this and you really want it to work, then you got to say, okay, I'm going to focus it in. I'm going to do this and get that commitment of your mind. So let's say right now, I said, here's what I want you to do, guys. I want you to show me your calendars. I want to see what you've got scheduled for the next week. And what we're going to do is we are going to rank your calendars or your appointment books from A to F. And an A would mean you're packed. You've got some Zoom home meetings. You've got some Zoom 2-on-1s. You've got maybe a Zoom product show going on. Result producing activities. Maybe you've got appointments to meet with people. An F would be if you looked over the next week, maybe you're attending one Zoom meeting to watch something, but you have nothing that's going to produce any income stream for you. So I won't ask you to put it in the chat box, but it is interesting because I know right now some people are looking at their calendar and they're going, holy cow, man, I would be a B. I would be a C. Holy cow, I'd be an F. And if you're an F, here's the funny thing. If you're a D and an F in your appointment book, how do you think your business is going to be? Because here's what happens. When you start the week out with nothing in your appointment book, it's not like people call you up and say, hey, how you doing? I'm looking for a business, wondering if you would show me what you're doing. Now that can happen once in a blue moon, but it doesn't happen on a regular basis. How do we normally go out and prospect and find customers and find business partners? Well, it's pretty simple. We ask them to evaluate it. We make the call. We make the first impression. We make the lead on it. So if nothing's scheduled, that means we're not making any calls. We're not getting a hold of people. We're not setting things up. And that means nothing will happen. And I know some of you are like, wow, Jim, you're being pretty tough on this. I'm tough on it because I love you and I want you to do well in the business. And you have the talent to do very well in the business. I'll guarantee you that. But sometimes we lose it in our scheduling. We put everything first. We put our work first. Then we put family. Then after family, we have I got to go out with the boys. I got things to do. I'm in a league to do this. I'm in a league to do that. And it's summertime, Jim, and I got to get my hair cut. I got to get my nails done. I went to the doctor the other day. My shoulder's hurting me. And then you look and you say, wow, you know what? I just don't have any time to do my Market America business. It's not that you don't have time. It's what you choose to do with your time. And now I know I'm talking to the best people in the business right now. You're the ones who are taking time to learn, to train, to grow. So don't take this wrong, but I'm saying, what if you could increase what you're doing right now 20%? What if you could increase it 30%? What if in the 10 to 15 hours, I'm not saying work more, 10 to 15 hours, you could increase it 40%? Do you think it'd make a difference in what your income would be? And I'm going to go forward to say, I would guarantee it would make a difference in how your income would be. So you got to learn to schedule your business. So what do I mean by that? Well, when we schedule work, what time you got to be at work tomorrow? You probably know that right now. What time's dinner tomorrow night? You may know that right now. What time are you going to work out today? You may know that right now. What time are you going to do your business? Do you have it in your calendar? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the nights, the days, and the hours that I can work. So this is what I did when I started. I said, okay, I got to move this fast. I got to figure out how to make this happen. So I looked and said, okay, I'm traveling Tuesday through Friday. This is when, back when we didn't have Zoom and the technology, I could have worked on the road really easily if I would have had. Now nobody has an excuse. If you're traveling, if you're doing anything, you have the excuse to it. Somebody like, yeah, but Jim, I'm stuck at home. Give me a break. Call up people, they're at home, get them on Zoom and get to work with them. Get rid of the excuses that are in your mind, because you can either make money or you can make excuses, but you cannot make both. And I'll guarantee you right now, for every person making excuses, there's someone out there showing the plan. For every person who says it won't work, there's someone making it work. And that's what you have to do to really move ahead. So you schedule, you look and you say, okay, when is it available? What times do I have? So I looked, I said, okay, I'm going to have to work on weekends, because if I'm gone Tuesday through Friday, 3 out of 4 weeks, I don't have any time to work while I'm gone, unless I can find a prospect. And I was traveling all the time. I was in different countries. So when you look at it, they say, okay, I'm going to work weekends. Well, when on the weekends? Okay. So I'm going to try to schedule something on a Sunday night. I usually try to do a Sunday at like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, ZBP or HBP, then not a Zoom one like I would talk about now. And I would try to do something Saturday morning right off the bat. And I'd try to do something Saturday afternoon. People say, well, yeah, but that's digging into your personal time. Okay, here's the deal. If I don't dig into my personal time, then I'm going to work the rest of my life. I wanted to build an ongoing residual income so that I would have choices to make the rest of my life. If I want to work, how much I want to work, what I want to do, and who I want to do it with. So you have to give to get. That's really a philosophy I've always believed in business, and I believe greatly in our business. So I took those hours and I marked them down. Then what I do? Now it was time to say, okay, I've got Saturday morning from 10 to 12 open. Okay, I'm going to get on the phone. And I would get on the phone. Now you could text, you could message, you can do whatever you want. But I'd try to get somebody to meet me at the coffee shop here. We'd go through, and I'm not going to go through a call workshop or a prospecting portion of this right now. You can go to some other Zooms I've done. You can take a look at those if you want to see them. But I'd book the appointment, and then I'd book another one right after it. So I could go boom, boom, 2 appointments back to back. And usually I scheduled an hour out. So between 10 and 12, I'd have 2 appointments. And I'd do it at a neutral spot where people would be coming. That way one couldn't go too long because the second one was coming. And also there was a psychology. I wanted the first one to see that there was a second one coming, because people want to do things when they think there's more people interested. It's an interesting psychology that people have, but that's how I would work. And then if I had a Sunday night, I'd call up one of my teammates. I said, look, I got Sunday night open. I know you really want to grow your business. I'm willing to do an HBP for you. If I was doing it right now, I'd say I'm willing to do a Zoom business presentation for you. Can you get some people together Sunday night? Because it's my only night. If you can't, it's cool, but then I got to call somebody else because I've got to fill my time, because this is what's in my calendar and this is how I'm scheduling out. Well, boom, all of a sudden you start scheduling, and also when your calendar gets filled, then somebody calls you up and they say, hey, could we do this on Sunday night? You're like, you know what? I'm sorry, I've already got 2 ZBPs I'm doing. I wouldn't be able to do one for you till the next Sunday. Well, all of a sudden, instead of you begging them to work with you, your teammates, they can't wait till you have an opening to work with you, because they see a value in what you're doing, because they see growth occurring, because if you do the business works. So pick the times, put them in the calendar, fill up the times. I know, that sounds simple, but I'm going to tell you that a lot of times it's the simple things in the business that make people millions of dollars. Pick the times, put them in the calendar, fill up the times. You can do more with 10 structured hours that way than you can with 20, hoping something will happen, waiting for a team leader to book something. Be the leader you wish your leader was, if they're not the leader that you want them to be. Or if they are a great leader, emulate them. Be that leader. You get ahead by doing things. And, one thing I will say as a UnFranchise owner, make an updated to-do list. Do it at night, so that you have it ready. When you wake up in the morning, you hit the floor and you're like, okay, I'm going after this. I'm going after this. I'm going after this. I mean, for Lisa and I, it is non-stop to-do list. We have to-do lists I have to-do lists for my corporate job. I have to-do lists for our business. We have to-do lists for our home life. We have to-do lists for our finances. We have to-do lists with the kids. It's like boom, 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 but everything's organized, because if we don't write it down, things slip by. So a to-do list. Now, put a deadline on some of those things, because if you don't make a commitment, that means you schedule it. If you don't put an end date on it, then you don't really have you have a hope, but you don't have something you're really doing. I remember I would, when I was early in my career, a great mentor of mine and still a great friend was Elizabeth Weber Walliser. And I'd call her up. I'd be all excited. We're not on the same financial organization, but I'd call Elizabeth up. I say, man, Elizabeth, I just hit, master coordinator. I'm cranking it out, and I'm going to nail professional. I'm going to get to professional so quick. And she'd say, okay, when? And I had no idea when. I was just fired up, And she'd say, when? Give me the date. And I'd say, I don't know the date. How would I know the date? She said, you're not serious. I'd say, I am serious. She said, then give me a date. So I'd give her a date. She's like, is that the date you get the check? Or is that the week you hit the BV? Because you don't really earn it until you get the checks. I'd be like, good Lord. Okay, 2 weeks later, I will be a professional coordinator. She's going to give me the date. Great. She said, now write it down in your appointment book. Now write down 2 weeks earlier, so you got to hit it by then. And she burned into my head, you know what? She was right. If I didn't put a deadline down, now I didn't hit it all the time, but I'll tell you what did happen. It pushed me to get there because I had a deadline on what I wanted to do. And that's no different. If you say I'm going to talk to 10 people about here's a great one. Right now, make a commitment. Say, I'm going to talk to 10 people about this business. How many of you would do that? I bet I'd get a lot of hands going up if we were live together, right? Live would say, I'll talk to 10 people about the business. My next thing would say, by when? Give me the commitment. When are you going to do it by? Get 5 new customers. I can get 5 new customers. By when? When are you going to do it by? make a commitment, use your time management skills so that you now are going to figure out how can I do it with that. And the third thing is point of contact to point of contact. And this is something that to me, it's brilliant. Every time you meet with somebody, book the next appointment. I don't care if you book it before you meet with them for the next one. Say, hey, I know it's going to be a lot of information coming at you. You may be a little bit overwhelmed. So let's book a follow-up 2 days from now. Or if it's after you finish and you say, hey, I know it was a lot of information. You may ask them how to rank themselves on a 1 out of 10. 1 meaning, hey, I wish I'd watched Netflix. 10 being, I wish you would have shown me this 3 years earlier. And say you ranked yourself a 6. That's great. That's what a lot of people do, a 6, a 7, an 8. Let's book another appointment. Let's get some questions answered so we can see what it might take to take you from a 6 to an 8. And I want you to write down the questions, and I want you to think of some people you could get in front of this to take a look at it. And maybe we can answer questions while you're sharing it with people, because if you get a couple people interested while you're evaluating, it's a no-brainer for you. So point of contact to point of contact is we just move from that contact to the next one. Then when you get together with them again, you book the next appointment. Today, we play so much phone tag, so much text tag, that if you can book point of contact to point of contact, you're really going to save yourself a tremendous, and I'll repeat that, a tremendous amount of time. So stop making excuses and make it happen. Don't tell me you don't have enough time. Don't tell me how tough everything is. I know things can be tough. I know you can be busy, and I know you can do it. So stop making excuses and make it happen by scheduling better. Keep the main thing the main thing. And what do I mean by the main thing? So let's talk about what we're talking about now. The main thing, here's what I want you to remember. What do we need to do? We need to share the business plan. Our goal is always 2 evaluations per week. Now, if I want to do 2 evaluations per week between me and my team, I probably need 3 to 4 appointments booked for the week. Why would I say that? Has anyone ever had an appointment cancel on them on this crew that we're with right now? I bet you they have. So I know I have, and I think I'm pretty good at tying them down. So if you've had appointments cancel on you, if you want to set a goal of doing 2 a week, you better book 3 a week, okay? Or maybe sometimes 4 a week. So first thing, we're getting the plan in front of people. We're getting them to evaluate it. We're working to get them to lead to other people. That's a main thing. Use your own products. So if you're a newer person watching me right now, you're going to start thinking, what products am I not using currently that are in my business? Because if I'm truly a product broker, and that's what we are, we're product brokers, right? Then I need to try my different products so that I can explain them to people when they ask me about them. And I need to, out of a common sense mode, replace products in my household I'm buying from somebody else. Why would I buy from someone else when I own the store, when I own the business? I want to buy. So use your own products. And then I need to create a customer base, 10 to 15 regular customers. If you're watching me right now and someone said, customers aren't important, I'm going to tell you they are 100%, no, I'll tell you they're 1000% dead wrong. Having a strong customer base is one of the most important things that you can have in your business. You know, people with 20 customers who buy on a regular basis, 10 customers who buy on a monthly basis, they don't ever leave the business. Why would they be idiots if they left? They're getting their products at cost. They have a customer base who orders, so that generates BV, and they're making retail profit. You know, whoever leaves the business, people don't generate a customer base. They're the only people who ever leave the business. This is very important to understand because we're talking about time management. Time management is don't waste your time teaching people the wrong things. You need to focus on building a great customer base with your team, because when they have a great customer base, they are going to be with you for a lifetime. And that is the best thing in the world. I work with people who I worked with 23 years ago because we built a great customer base right off the base, and we kept going with it. So base 10, 7 strong. And of course, a shopping annuity. Buy from your own business. That's all it is. Buy from your own business with your shopping annuity. I just bought contact lenses on Friday. I bought them through AC Lens. Why? Because it's a partner store. Because I think it was 11. It might have been 8, but 8 or 11%. I can't remember the exact amount. But why wouldn't I buy from my own business and get IBV towards commission? To me, it's just a no-brainer. I was going to buy them anyway. Why wouldn't I do it? Attend and promote events. So this is the third major focus right now. So we're sharing the business, we're using and sharing products, and we now attend and promote events. So why attend and promote? Because we need to get people to see what we see. And a lot of times people don't see it until there's a major event going on, until we get them to that local seminar, until we get them to that big UBP, or until we get them to that international convention, which will be coming up in 5 weeks now. And I know we're not having a physical one this year, and I know we all wish we could, and I'm with you, but boy, I have seen what's going on with this virtual one, and it is going to knock your socks off. If you don't have tickets, you want to get tickets for that. And you want to get all new people. Anyone you bring in the business between now and international convention, you want them at that event. And we are not replaying it, by the way, on YouTube. I just want to state this. We're not replaying it on YouTube. Don't think, oh, I'll wait till the next week and I'll watch it. See, I love this because this is back to my days when you either went and you got the information or you missed it and you fell 6 months behind. So you want to go to this. You want to get your new people to this. Now, so what did I just do? I was just promoting. Why? Because you're my team. You're all my team, which is great. And I'm promoting the next event, which is the International Convention. I'm giving you a little bit about it. I'm telling you why you should do it. And I'm also letting you know we're selling tickets at a record number. So with that being said, I want to get you there, and I want you to get your new people there, because if you get 3 people there with you, do you realize, let's say there's 30 hours of training over 3 days. 3 people there, that's 90 hours plus your 30. That's 120 hours that go into your business because you got 3 people to the event. 120 hours. Now, if you're there, you get 30 hours. But wouldn't you rather, if you have 120, don't you think that'll end up paying you more? You know it will. It's the way the numbers work. Create a team that does the same thing. That's the 4th major principle. So share the business plan, use and share the products, attend and promote the events, and create a team that does the same thing. How simple is that to teach, to coach, and to do? And how simple would that be if that was our focus, if that's what we did to make sure that we were growing the right way? I'm going to give you another huge time management treat right now, a nugget. Work with the right people. So here's the thing. We qualify people as prospects, right? And sometimes even when we do a great job of qualifying, they say all the things, they do the right things up front, then they get started, then something happens, they stop doing as much, and they're not as interested as they were 2 months ago. And yet, you've got 10 hours a week. You're trying to put 5 hours into person A and 5 hours into person B. And person A isn't doing anything, and person B is really working hard. Here's the mistake we all make. We then start working with person A more. We say, well, they're not doing as much, so I got to help them. I'm going to put 8 hours with them. Person B they're doing a lot, so they don't need me as much. I'll give them 2 hours. You're doing the exact wrong thing to build a great business. See, here's how I've always focused my business. If I got 2 people and person A is not doing a lot and person B is doing a lot, I'm going to give more time to person B. They've earned it. Now, person A may need it more. Maybe financially they need it more, but they're not earning it. They're not doing anything. And if I put more time into them and they do nothing, I am wasting my time. So I've always looked for the one who, if I put the time into them, they would put the time back into the business, because then my 5 hours turns into 15 hours, or my 5 hours turns into hundreds of hours. And that's what you want to do. So work with the right people. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Stop trying to change people to be what you want. When we're Go Now, we want everyone to be Go Now, don't we? It's just sort of the way it is. We want everybody to be the way we are, but they're not. So love them for where they're at. I've got people been in my business 20 years that love the product. They love to sell products. They never wanted to build a big business, and they don't. I love on them. When we can be together again, I hug on them. I appreciate them. They're my friends. If I was trying to turn them into me, I would push them out of the business. And the reason I'd push them out is because I would be trying to make them Jim Winkler, and they're not Jim Winkler. They are who they want to be, and they're doing it at the pace they want to go. Now, at some point that may change. At some point they may say, hey, I want to do more. And when they tell me that, I'm going to push them harder. I'm going to work with them more. But I match effort. I match effort. Now, see, if you don't match the effort of the person who's working really hard, They feel neglected. They feel like they're having to do it on their own. They get resentful because you're trying to build your other side because it's weaker. Wrong mentality. Work with the people you want to work with, okay? Sandra asked a question, how do we order tickets for the International Convention? First thing I would do, Sandra, go to your senior partners and ask them if they have any. If they don't, you can order it right in your back office. If you type in International Convention tickets, it'll pop up under your ordering tab. So work with the people who deserve it and love the stable and waiting. I hope that makes sense. This is a crucial time management tip because you can go so much faster that way. You know, really, I want you to think about this. In every organization I have, there's a point I identified someone, and I flat out tell them sometimes. I say, I identify you. And they'll be like, what does that mean? I'll be like, I identify you as the next leader. You're the one. I'm going to put effort. I'm going to put time into you. But I'm only going to do that if you're going to give it back. You're doing it right now. I want to make sure we're committing to each other, that we're going to build together. You're going to do it. I'm going to do it. And let's go. See, I don't need to commit to 100 people because if I commit to that one person, they're going to commit to a whole bunch of people. I'm going to help everybody, but I'm going to really commit hard to that one person because, again, you want to get your people paid. So stop trying to turn your 5s into aces. You know what I mean? This is why JR is so strong and so brilliant with the evaluation approach. When he's talking about going through the deck of cards, you know, if we're going through a deck of cards and you get some 5s or some 4s or some 7s, and I say, hey, turn those into aces for me. And you're like, what are you talking about? I was like, go find a permanent marker and just start writing on them. And while you're doing that, I'm just flipping and I'm putting my aces over here. I'm going to get there way before you. You're still trying to find the permanent marker. You're trying to motivate your 5 to become an ace. You're trying to skillfully get your 7 to an ace. It doesn't happen. Let them grow at the pace they want and find more aces while you're doing it, okay? And sometimes your aces are going to pop out from other people. Do you understand that? So your aces aren't going to be aces you find. They're going to be aces from the people you bring in. So I think that's really important to understand and to realize for time management. And surround yourself with the right kind of people. Those that are on the same mission as you. I'm always looking for the people who want to go fast. I'm looking for the people who are hungry, the people who want to make this happen, the people who get people out of the way. Now I'm going to give you another time management tip. Keep prospecting. People say, Jim, why do you say keep prospecting for time management? Because I've seen so many people waste years of their business. Because prospecting and getting people to evaluate our business is a key. Keep a focus on your prospecting. Never stop. Always be building. Always be in the game. Now, I'll tell you this because I've joked around with this with a number of leaders. And whenever a leader hears somebody say that, you know, I'm working with my group, okay? So I haven't been prospecting really. What we hear, we don't hear that. We hear, I'm really being lazy and don't feel like prospecting, so I'm trying to get my group to do it for me. And people are like, Jim, that's not true. Yes, it is. Because let me ask you a question. Some of the biggest leaders in this company, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, do they still recruit? Do they still prospect? Do they still do evaluations with people? Yes, they do. And if they do it and they have the biggest organizations in the world, in fact, I'll tell you, most of the people who have grown and maintained and continue to grow are the ones who continue to prospect and have people do evaluations. The ones who stop doing it and just want to work with the group, suddenly the group doesn't do as well because the group goes at the pace of the leader and they duplicate what the leader's doing. And all of a sudden everybody stops. It makes no sense. So I want you to change your mindset. I want you to say, I'm working with my group and I'm going to continue to grow. Because, you know, let me ask you a question. If you were prospecting and people were doing evaluations, suddenly you brought in 3 or 4 new people and put it down one side of your business. Do you think that might motivate some of the people in between there to do a little bit more as well? Do you think they may say, wow, it's working. Jim's doing it. If he's doing it, I can do it. And if all of a sudden you say, hey, you got one side that's just tearing it up, you should really go to work because you're losing money every week. Do you think that might get some people going? And this is the way I want your mind to think because you're building and you're growing with the business. So now if you say, well, Jim, I've been going out, I've been doing appointments, but I'm struggling, get somebody else to go with you. Partner with someone already having success, one of your senior partners, have them sit in with you, have them support, have them listen. You know, it's funny. A lot of times when Lisa and I show the plan, the two of us will do it. And a lot of times I'll be leading and I'll be doing it, but I get so into the plan sometimes I miss all these signals from the person we're doing it with. And Lisa will stop me and she'll say something and I'll realize I missed it. Well, I've done the plan thousands of times. Yeah, I've got a partner who can watch and can help me. You've done it how many times? Do you think there's someone who might be able to support and help you as well? Use them, work with them, have them help you with your team. And then, of course, make a great names list. You know, time management. I don't even want to prospect. Redo your names list. That's a good 2 hours of your time. Redo your names list and get that going. That is a good use of your time. You know, you can collapse the time frame. And what do I mean by that? You know, Steve Harris always used to say this to me. He said, you know, go crazy for 12 months. You know, if you say, well, I don't want it to be 2 to 3 or 4 to 5 or 6 to 7 years. I want to do it quicker. Great, collapse the time frame. This is what I did. So at the end of a year, at the end of 12 months, I was annualizing 6 figures with the company in commissions. How did I do that? I looked at it and said, well, if people are telling me to work 10 to 15 hours a week in result producing activities, I'm going to collapse that time frame. That's a 2 to 3 year plan. I'm going to work 30 to 45 hours a week. So part-time, when I had 6 months, I was putting in 20, 30, 35 hours. Then when I went full-time, quit my job after 6 months, and I went full-time, I didn't work 40 hours. I worked 50 hours. I worked 60 hours. But at the end of a year, I had collapsed 3 years to 1 because I that's all I focused on. And at the end of the night, you know, I was calling people. So I live in the Midwest of the United States, for those of you from other countries. And so on the East Coast, I can get a hold of people early in the morning because that's an hour ahead. On the West Coast, I could get hold of people late at night because it's 2 hours behind me. And then at about 11 o'clock at night, when there's nobody else I could really call, that's when I would organize my desk, do anything I needed to do. But I did not do it during work time. People say, well, that's obsessive, Jim. Is it? I thought it was brilliant because I wanted to get it done. Because then, if you want to think of it, by the time I was 34, I was jobless. I did not have a job. I could do what I wanted, work where I wanted, be with who I wanted working. I had the ability to do the things most people wait till they're 65 or 70 to do. Now that's collapsing the time frame. That's only for the people who want to go crazy, who want to go fast. For everybody else, I'm just saying use your 10 to 15 and work the time frame. You don't have to do what I did. What you do have to do, though, is you have to say, I'm going to put a real 10 hours in, a real 10 hours of doing things. And, you know, then I have never seen a better time than right now to collapse time frames, to time manage because of Zoom. You know, it used to be if I went out and I did a home business presentation, I might drive 45 minutes, stay there an hour and a half, talk with the people a little bit afterwards, and drive home. So there's 4 hours gone. Now I'm at my house. They've got everybody on. If we take an hour, we're taking a long time. When I'm done, I walk out and I'm right at my house. This is the easiest it's ever going to be able to collapse the time frame or to maximize your hours if you're organized, if you're putting your time in, if you're making the calls. And then when you do things, use everything as a teaching tool. Use everything to teach your team exactly what to do. And that'll be really a big key for you if you're doing that. What do I mean by that? If you do a registration, tell the person you're registering, say, hey, I've got a couple people who are going to be on with me because I'm teaching them how to do it. And you know what? I'm going to do the same thing for you, okay, to be able to do that in the future. So you'll see how to do a registration better. So those are things we want to be able to do as well. These home meetings with Zoom right now in particular, you can multiple organizations. I can do my left and my right side of my one. I can maximize my time. I can maximize my results by being able to do this. So you have a lot of great advantage. You can do them with other people, other teammates to do them. Do a dual home business meeting. Do them for your new people as well. And then base 10, 7 strong. You guys know me. I can't do a meeting without talking about retailing. But get 10 customers doing 40 BV each. That's 400 BV. In the U.S., daily essentials packets are a pack of daily essentials packets is 40 BV. Tim Trim T's talking too fast. A prime joint support, use 100 BV. So if I've got 10 customers doing 40 BV, I'm using just 100, which is, I think I used that this morning. That's 500 BV per person. 500 BV per person. All it takes for me then is 3 people on each side of my business to be earning a $300 monthly check. And I'm going to tell you, when you have a $300 monthly check coming in, it's what we call base 10 customers each, 7 strong, you plus 3 on the left, 3 on the right. That $300 check, you realize real quickly, I could make that 600 if I help them identify some people and I help them get some customers. That's really what it comes down to. And again, I'm going to say it, when you have a team that retails, you'll have a team that will be with you forever, because they're making money, they're enjoying it, and they're succeeding doing that. And they'll stay involved long enough to learn how to build the business the correct way. One of the last things, sell tickets. So this is a huge time management thing, that something I got right away. My goal has always been from event to event to have more people there. My goal for international convention, I've already been making phone calls, already been calling people on the team who haven't bought tickets. No excuse, no travel money that you have to spend. You're getting $100 of products. It's a $200 ticket. You get $100, so it's a $100 ticket for 3 days of training that you can watch from your home, and you're the only ones who are going to be able to get it. No way not to be there. No ticket, no money. You've probably heard that before. So I am selling education. I'm creating a sense of urgency. I'm letting them know, and you do not want to miss this. Right now we're August 3rd, and in August, I always feel like this is when we need that boost. We need to re-energize. That's why JR's always had his conventions in August and in February, why the corporate teams always set that up. Well, I think it's going to be vital to have that set up so you get as many people as you can there on in September. And there's so many ways to move tickets after showing the plan, after a UBP, a ZBP, after at a registration. That's one of the best ways to do it, is when you're registering a new person, say, hey, our team is all going to be watching the international convention. It's online. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is something you're telling me you're really serious. This is something I would like you to do, something I would really like you to enjoy. Create a sense of urgency. During call workshops, I'll make calls to sell tickets by calling my stable and waiting people and letting them know that I care about them. And I didn't know if they had a ticket yet, but I want to make sure they know what's going on and how it's going to be. Again, it's not, you're always coming from a place of love. I want to make sure you get that. You're coming from a place of caring, of supporting. That's what we want to do. Not beating on them because they're not doing it, but supporting them and helping them. Some people, no matter how good you are, no matter how much you try, they won't do it, and that's okay too. They're making their choice, but I love to know I gave them the best shot. And the bullseye, you can see it. What is a bullseye? It's international convention. We have to do a lot of outer ring activities, one-on-ones, two-on-ones, home business presentations, UBPs, to keep moving people closer to the bullseye. And the bullseye is getting people to the international convention. So do the outer ring activity to get people to the inner ring activity. A long time ago, I said this, and I think the company put it onto one of these slides. It says, no one's ever become $1 million club member in this business without making World Conference and International Convention the focus of their team and their business. Building from event to event is the best way to get where you want to be. I don't know how many years ago I said that. It was probably quite a few, but I can tell you what, it is truer today than it ever has been. Make that focus, getting people to the next event. Do the 2 possibilities a day. call or text one a day, do your 2 business evaluations a week. So, I mean, how easy is it to add possibilities through things like Facebook or different social media, to text one a day, to add 2 business evaluations, and then keep our main things, the main things. I won't cover these again because we talked about them earlier, but this is what it's about. Simple. Share the business plan, use and share the products, attend and promote the events, and teach your team to do the same thing. Don't miss the international convention. I'm giving you time management tip 101 right now. You want to move your business fast, be there and get as many people as you can there with you. I'm going to end it with this. You can either make excuses or you can make money, but you can't make both. I hope this has been fun. I hope you've gotten some great information on filling up your calendar, on using your 10 to 15 hours the right way. I've enjoyed being with everyone. I can't wait to see you when we're doing the international convention. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I look forward to watching you grow in your business. Bye-bye.